So I'm Sarah McDonald. I'm a researcher with New South Wales Department of Primary Industries. I was involved in this Rangeland's Rehydration proof of concept project in the monitoring of the on-ground water ponds back in November 2021. With the research team, I was collecting data on soil. That included soil carbon, pH, bulk density and nitrogen, as well as various measures of landscape function, so the soil stability, infiltration and nutrient cycling, as well as the compaction or soil strength of that, as well as a variety of different pasture measures, so looking at the composition and diversity of those pastures, the ground cover and the amount of biomass that was within those ponds and control areas. So there's multiple outcomes that the producers are trying to get through these works. So that's around the broader landscape function and resilience improvements, as well as other co-benefits like improved production for their stock and biodiversity across those landscapes. So key takeaways from our project, I guess, in terms of soil carbon, we did see some trends of increased soil carbon within up to probably 10 metres out from those ponding banks. We are seeing, especially for those sites that have been established for longer periods, already some differences and increases in carbon in those areas, which we'd expect to hopefully continue to improve with time. In terms of the ground cover and pasture biomass, on average we were seeing up to 2 tonnes produced within those ponding banks, compared with only about 250 kilos a hectare outside of the area. So it's definitely making some significant improvements there in terms of biomass production. And ground cover, we were looking at averages of around 40% cover of vegetation within those ponding banks, compared to just about 5% outside of it. And for those banks that were established for longer periods, cover was up to 70% in some areas. Yeah, and then in terms of landscape function, even on areas that have only been in place for less than a year, we're already seeing improvements in the water infiltration rate, in that nutrient cycling index and in that soil strength, so reduced compaction and yeah. Over the last century or even further since livestock were introduced into these rangelands, a considerable amount of degradation has occurred, and so these works that these producers are doing are trying to sort of reverse these and improve the condition of these landscapes. The fact that they're able to just do this off their own bat in a lot of cases and work together and learn from each other, I think they're achieving change not only at their property, but it's contributing to that greater change across an entire catchment, for example, or landscape, especially when in some of these regions it's underrepresented in terms of the conservation reserve systems, and yeah, so they're able to have that benefit of scale, I suppose. In terms of support that the landholders need, it is quite costly in some cases, and it takes a lot of time. Also just the guidance from people like Hugh Pringle, just to provide advice on where to locate these water ponds, do that in a strategic way that can be most efficient use of resources essentially. So I think, yeah, definitely greater support for these works would be great.